Who amongst you has turned to AI because you're experiencing pressure to churn out large volumes of content and stay consistent?
And have you tried using AI platforms to create content but felt as if you lost your voice? Today's topic, how to use AI, the secret to balancing automation and authenticity.
Welcome to the Influencers Journey Show. My name is Suzanne Hart.
And I'm Taria Hodge.
And this is the big question. How does the average entrepreneur like us, who started with limited time, zero marketing budget, and little to no online presence, get their authentic message into the marketplace and become a person of influence?
And what skills must you learn? And most importantly, who are you required to become to magnetically attract your divine client and build a loyal following? Welcome, Suzanne. I'm super excited to sit down for this talk today. It has been a wonderful and amazing day. I had the opportunity just to share to present as one of the speakers at the AI Biz Summit hosted by Howard White and Terrence McMahon. And when I tell you, the stuff that they shared about AI, I'm telling you, I can't wait to have this conversation tonight. It's going to be a juicy one.
I agree. What I'm excited about for this conversation is it takes on mindset in terms of communication mastery and how we think about AI and how we think about communication and creativity. And then it dips into social media in terms of that's like the big thing. AI is everywhere. And how do you adjust? How do you embrace it? Or are you one of those people on the struggle bus saying, yeah, no? And I think this is the interesting thing. How many of you remember when social media started, Facebook, all those things way back in the day? And everybody was like, this is just a passing phase. I'm not doing that. Okay, that was me for a little while. I'm not doing it. Oh, heck no, I'm not using that for my business. Look at us all now.
Yeah.
And so I think AI is very similar to that, don't you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's one of the things that, we're beginning to see, and, it's where you're going to get in. So are you going to get in and be one of the early adopters? Or are you going to be one of those people who just kind of hang out on the sideline and you just watch everything happen, waiting for that proverbial shoe to drop before you jump in? And I'm here to say, like, if you haven't started using AI in your business, you need to. If you're, like Suzanne said, if you're a little bit fearful, you're sitting on the fence, well, hopefully we'll be able to share some things, with you in our conversation today that would kind of, get the ball rolling for you in that direction.
Yeah. When I got introduced, the first AI that I got introduced was by one of my, toys and everything technical, not Taria. I know that's the girl, Miss Lethia Owens. And she sent me a link to a site and she goes, girl, you got to check this out. When I jumped on there, Taria, I got so excited. I got so excited because I suddenly saw ease in terms of content creation. And we're going to dive into that. And I saw ease because how many of you, you've got content in your head and you want to create, but you got to go do research. You're lost for words. You're looking for stuff, all that stuff. Imagine getting all that in one place in a voice that is authentic and you can start to play with it. So that what got me excited. And I've been an AI in terms of this piece. I'm not like AI girl yet, but I'm being introduced to a little bit of here and a little bit of there. But when it comes to content creation and writing, girl, oh yeah, you got to get on this.
So, it's kind of interesting. And, I have to sit down and think about my own process around AI. I think first of all, let me just say this. AI has been around, for quite some time. So we're all familiar with using some AI tools like messenger bots and all of that stuff. I'm particularly sticking in the social media realm, right? But the thing about it is when the the more advanced AI services come into play, like for example, Chat GTP, Open AI services, Copy AI, all those things. I remember it was Howard asking me the question, "Are you using AI yet?" And I'm like, "No." And I said it with such fervence in my voice, because like, why would I want to do that? Okay, why would I want to, and this was my mindset, to take apart or use something that would render my services obsolete in the marketplace? After all,
Mhm.
AI is teaching people how to write content and do all of this stuff. And all I kept seeing was like, there will be no need for my services, in the marketplace. So no, are you kidding me? I definitely am not going to use it, and I'm definitely not teaching it to anyone
Or
else
promoting it to anyone.
or
And I
promoting it.
think
Like,
And I think this is the big conversation going on right now. And I want to put into the space for everyone listening is there's pros and cons to everything that gets introduced, right? There's pros and cons to the car, there's pros and cons to the television, there's pros and cons to the computer. Like no matter what gets introduced, there's pros and cons. And I think where the distinction really lies is with us, the user. And are we willing to be responsible? Are we willing to be creative? Are we willing to use our ethics and morals? And I think, when you put something that's invented in one bucket and say, "Ooh, that's totally bad," it takes away our free will
right.
and our personal accountability and responsibility for the use of it. And I think when you sit in the place of how can I be responsible and accountable, then it opens up the conversation in many, many different ways. And I think what it has had us do is to put on our creativity hats and say,
Definitely.
how do I create the unique space for myself still while adopting this technology? And I think that's going to be the challenge for anyone out there. However, there's an answer and a solution if you're willing to look.
Yeah. Awesome. Ooh, so yes, I can't wait to dive deep into our conversation today.
Mhm. So if you are joining us tonight, please let us know who you are, where on the planet you're joining us from, and what brought you out. What is it about this topic that had you go, "Ooh, I'm curious"? Let us know what you want to learn. Put your questions in the comment section so that we can start to engage in conversation. Also, let us know what you do while you're living, who you serve, and what are you passionate about in what you're doing. If you missed it live and you're listening to the replay, please hashtag replay and do the same thing. Let us know who you are, where you're joining us from, what you do while you're living, who you serve, and light up the comment section, because we will definitely go back and participate and answer and respond to your comments. And this is why we do what we do. We want to provide great content, but we also love the engagement that comes and how we get to meet and expand our world by being in communication with you. So Tria, I know you got some more ask of these beautiful people.
Yes, and so if you are joining the Influencers Journey Show for the very first time, this is your opportunity to go ahead and subscribe to our channel. So look below the video, hit the subscribe button. That way, whenever we do the show, we're here every Thursday evening, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You will get notifications when we go live so you could join in on the conversation. And then also, I'm just going to ask you to go ahead and share this video, share this channel with other super achievers that you know who are ready to take a step on their influencer's journey.
All right, so are you ready to get this party started, my friend?
I am ready.
All right, so welcome back to the Influencers Journey Show. My name is Suzanne Hart, and this is my girl, Taria Hodge. Our topic is how to use AI, the secret to balancing automation and authenticity. And I think that is the big question. It's a big question for us anyway, because that's what we talk about, being authentic, transparent, and real. So Tria, let's jump in.
Yeah, so I want to start off by, asking you, so in the top of the show, one of the things that I heard you say that you were introduced to AI by one of our mentors, Lethea Owens. She too is another amazing marketer and tech tech girl in the space. And she introduced you to AI and you started using it. So one of the things that I'm curious, to ask you is, how do you find using AI and how are you incorporating it in your business as what I like to call a creative ally?
I love the question. And first of all, Lethea Owens and Tria are the gadget girls. So they come to me with every gadget. And a lot of the times I'm like, oh, that's nice, but no, thank you. You all can use that and just give me and have me reap the benefit of you using it. And so for a lot of technology, Tria, that's who I be, is that I will just say, yeah, great, nice to know, but who's using it? Because not me. Because I like to run in my lane, which is speak, train, and write. And so when I got introduced to AI, particularly Chat GPT, what intrigued me was, remember, speak, train, and write. This was a writing tool to me. So as Lethea was introducing it, and she started by just showing us how she used it to, one, do research, right? So she kept putting in words and it kept coming up with content and new content and all those things. But then she was also using it to write articles, to write emails, to write posts, to write outlines, to write all sorts of different things. So now she's got my attention. And I think that was the first thing is, every AI tool is not for everybody. The big question you want to ask yourself is, how is this going to enhance what I do? And how is it going to make me more proficient, effective, save me time, expand my creativity, all those different things. So I was intrigued. And so when I jumped on, I was in the middle of writing articles and emails. So what I decided to do was put questions in that I wanted to answer in my article. So I type in these questions, but I type it in terms of, write me a post about this, write me an email about this, write me a paragraph about this. And I press and boom, something would show up. And I'd be like, oh, that is kind of cool. This was the interesting thing. A lot of what showed up was stuff I already knew. And a lot of what showed up was stuff it was deeper. And so it wasn't that I didn't know it. I would not have gone into that depth or accessed that depth as I was writing the article, because I'd be at the top of mind. And so I started going, oh, I can use this and I can use that and I can use this and I can use that. And so what it did was, not only did it expand my writing, but it also challenged me. Because of course, I researched one question, which led me to another question, which led me to another question, which led me to another question. And so as I'm doing it, what I'm not really looking at is I'm researching. But I'm researching from the context of what I want to put in an article. Probably in about 10 minutes, I have everything I need. And I also have language. And so for me, I was like, oh, this is cool, because I now have language and I have all my research done. Now I'm going to start to write. And I think that's the distinction for me, is that I don't have it write my article for me, but I have it give me a lot of great content that I am going to use as I'm writing. And what it has done is, one, given me creative access to things that I may not have had, expanded my reach or my mind in terms of what I'm pulling on to put into my article. It has made article writing and post writing and email writing way quicker. And I'm also putting in my own language. So there's words that I use all the time, Tria. So I would put this word in and it would, boom, bring me out some stuff. And I'd be like, ooh, that's not on at all. And then that's bang on. So it was really cool. So that's how I started using it. And I was like, well, this is fun. So how do you use it? Because I know you were like, as you said at the top of the show, you were like, oh yeah, we're not doing that because I'm a social media strategist and I teach people how to post content, and I'm not having nothing write their content, because if they do, I remember the conversation.
Yeah, because I spent a long time working on my process to just have it thrown out the window by some AI stuff, right? But no, seriously speaking, for me, it was kind of like the same thing. So I remember, and ChatGTP, let me just say, that was not the first AI tool that I used. I think I tried another tool. I think Canva was the first one that I tried. Like, somebody sent me a link and I said, oh my gosh, did you know Canva could do this? I'm like, what? Get the heck out of here. Let me go inside and take a look and see what Canva got going on. And I remember, just for the very first time, sitting down and, like you said, entering in the prompts inside of Canva and looking at the content that it was giving me back. And it was
Mhm.
almost like I got lost. I was so intrigued by the not only the depth of information, but how much information I was able to get back very quickly. So
Mhm.
before, my process would look like, if I'm researching something, I would, and then literally, this is for social media, right? So if I'm researching topics for the show, then what I'll do research, right? So I want to take a look at what influencers are saying, what people are saying on the topic, and all of that stuff. And I'm looking and I'm studying, and then I'm bringing my viewpoint, whether I agree or I disagree with what the experts are saying. And that literally used to be my process. And so in order for me to do that, it would literally take me a couple of days,
Yeah.
to prepare and get prepped, to do a show. And I sat there and I was just like, oh my gosh, like, I didn't have to pull up another page in Google. I didn't have to guess another keyword or another thing to search. I didn't have 10 tabs open. I was still in one platform doing the research and getting back the answers that I needed. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. And I think from there I became, very, very intrigued. And
Mhm.
eventually I moved over, to, like I said, there's quite a few that you could get content from. But I remember moving over into ChatGTP. And I remember one of the conversations that I had, with Howard White. He said to me, one of the things I'm going to challenge you to do is to take a look at AI as a collaborative partner. So just like how
That
you
is
and
that is okay. That's so Howard. That is so Howard. I just gotta say, that is so Howard.
yeah, and I have to give him props because, like I said, I just came off of the AI Small Biz Summit. He literally put together the whole entire summit, back and front and everything, using AI. It was absolutely amazing. But I remember he said to me, think about it as a collaborative partner. And so one of the things that I really enjoy in my relationship with Howard is the way that we're able to sit down and just have conversations and flush out ideas, and things come up off the top of the mind. And we're really good at supporting each other in that way. And then he's like, just like how you would have a conversation with me, talk to AI the same way. And I was just
That,
like, really?
that's a great, like, someone needs to put that in the chat. That's great advice.
Yeah, because I was looking at it from how you would regularly do a search in Google, how to, I got so much stuff. Oh gosh. He's like, no, talk to it. And so I started to treat ChatGTP like as if it's a person, and I'm having these conversations. And the beautiful thing about it is it started to give me back content.
Mhm.
And the thing that I love the most is that it remembered the things that I put in from before. So after a while, it's just like, well, I know you're a social media strategist, and I know this is what, man, they got my shine in there. So we know you talk on the principles of shine. And so I'm going to give you
Mhm.
back your content this way because this is your audience. This is the pain points that they struggle with. this is the transformation that they desire, and we know where you're going to lead them to. So it was absolutely amazing, a game changer, so freeing,
And
for me.
I think one of the things that you're really giving as a great gift to everyone who's listening is that, you're talking about training an AI, training someone to listen for what you're looking for. And it was the same thing with me. Like after a while, I could mindset mastery. And after a while, I kept putting things in and I'd be like, oh, it's spitting out my words, like things that I say, and it's spitting out all these different things. And so it became quicker and it became more like me
Yeah.
because of the questions I would ask. And just even asking it, tell me more about that. Expand on this.
Right.
It'll type in something and I'll go, ooh, let me ask it this question and let me ask it that question. And I think that's one of the key things that makes this work really well, is to really ask great questions.
Yeah.
And when and they say, when you ask great questions, you get great answers. When you ask AI great questions, you get answers. I mean, like, woo, you get answers. like it's like point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4. You're getting answers. And I think that is really cool. So this is what I think. I know we've had the conversation, Sharia, and I know probably many people that are listening are having this conversation, is how do you balance this automation where you're doing research and it's combing all these places to bring you back this content?
Mm-hmm.
How do you manage it with authenticity?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I know you and I have had this question because that is one of the biggest things that we talk about in speaking. I'm always like, you've got to bring your authentic self to the stage. In writing, you've got to bring your authentic self to the document, to the content. And I know in social media, you're doing the same thing. So what is it that you're learning in order to balance that?
Yeah. So like I said before, that was my big question. If everyone is using AI, how do we not sound like everybody else in the marketplace? So if we're all using the same tools and we're all searching with the same prompts, same ideas, like after a while, aren't we all going to start to sound alike? And that was the question that I struggled with, that had me reluctant in the beginning to take a look at it. And it was when, we sat down and we started to have the conversation, we realized that there was a missing. And the missing is our experience, our stories. Those are the things that really separates us in the marketplace. And so one of the things that I always remember, and I give you so much credit for this because I shared it today on our talk, right? Is to always remember that our stories give our context to the content. So our stories create the context for our content to land, right? And that's one of the things that I've learned in working with you through the years, coming through Unleash the Power of your story, and all of our other programs that we do. It's all about the storytelling. And so when I take a look at the social media landscape, it has changed. And it's not like what it was when it first started. When it first started, social media was like an information dump. Everybody had information that they wanted to share. And because they were sharing information, and because not too many people were sharing information or using social media in that way, it was easy for them to just pass on giving information and not allowing people to see who they are, who's the person really behind the brand, or the story behind the brand. And things have changed. Our audience wants to know, who they're connecting with. So every brand has a story. Okay?
And I think,
if you don't know that, every brand has a story. And before I let you go, and one of the things that, I get excited about is social media is the place where that brand story plays out.
and it's all our story. It's all our stories, right?
Yeah.
And what's interesting about this is it really challenges us to one, give great value, which is content. However, to craft and share great stories. And I remember the first time I was asked to share my story on stage, and I was really reluctant because it was personal.
Mhm.
And I came from the school of no, you don't be personal, you share great content. However, the first time I shared my story on stage, it was like the audience leaned in and said, "Oh, that's who she is.
Yeah.
That's how she got there. Oh, I get it now." And so, what I want to remind everyone that's listening is when we say that story creates the context for your content to land, stories create the landscape, they create the environment,
Yeah.
they define you and separate you from everyone else. So I like to say my story is my me only,
Yeah.
right? It's this is my walk, my journey, my way of being, my lens of seeing the world, my perception of things, my opinions. And yes, I'm teaching, and I might be teaching something very similar to someone else, but when I wrap my thoughts, my journey, my opinions around it, it suddenly shifts. And so I think what's really cool about AI is taking, doing all the research and getting all this great content, validating it with your content and using content that aligns. And I think that's one of the key things is using content that aligns with your beliefs, your values, and your way of teaching. And in addition to that, wrapping it in stories that make it one sound like you,
Mhm.
represents your walk and your journey, and gives people an experience. And I think that's the other thing that stories do is it takes people on a journey and it gives them an experience while you're dropping in this great content. I think, and there are probably people listening going, story, like, what is that, pages of story? Like, what I gotta do? And no, it's not. I think one of the other really cool things is to remember a story can be 3
Right.
lines,
Mhm.
and a story can be a paragraph. A story could be the whole post. It really depends. But what the story does is adds emotions, it creates a journey, it makes someone see something in a certain way, it creates texture, it creates color, all these different things. And when you drop content into that landscape, it's now different.
Yeah.
And that's why Sharia can teach something and someone say, "Oh, I get it," although they've heard it from Tom, Bob, Sandy, Suzanne, and then Sharia says it, but her context, her story, her perception is a little different, and suddenly it lands.
Yeah. And it's so true, because this is the thing. I know there, people out there who take a look at AI as a means to help them do per se the things that they don't like. So one of the things that I know that a lot of people struggle with is creating content for social media. And so AI is on the scene. Here's this place that you could go in and you could get social media content. And one of the things that I've learned, and I always share this all the time, the purpose of AI is not to replace you. So that's the biggest thing that I think, like, some people are happy to be replaced in some areas,
Yeah.
and other people worry about being replaced in other areas. But AI doesn't replace you. What it does, it enhances what you have to
It
offer.
does.
And
It
so you
does.
can't take yourself out of the equation. You always have to remember, like you say, to bring your story, bring your unique experiences, and have them shine through the content that you're sharing.
Mhm. And share with everyone, because one of the things that you started doing, and I love, love, love this, is taking our long videos and using AI to edit and snippet and clip it and create these really small videos. And for me, that was a game changer, because I believe that when you tell me to do a 3-minute video, I'm not in my flow yet,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean. However, and I'm thinking about what I have to say, and I got to make it, and tighter and shorter is more difficult than long, and you
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
I got
Right.
time. And so, however, you get the best of me when I'm answering questions. You get the stuff that I won't think of sharing with anyone. You get the stuff that's just I'm downloading in the moment. So when you're able to take a long video and then go in and go, ooh, that's juicy, that's amazing. Ooh, we got to get that. I've never heard her say that before or that way, and be able to snip it, that's a game changer.
Yeah. So before I speak to that, I just want to share this because it's so funny. So I had a client that came to me. Oh my gosh, they try you all the time. It came to me and said, you know what? I'm just not going to do it the way you said to do it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create, these short little 2 to 3 minute videos.
Mm.
I'm going to share these videos across my social media, and every day I'm going to do a video. And I'm thinking in my mind, so shout out to the people who could do short videos every day. I know there's some of you out there, but the reality is not a lot. But anyway, right. And I was just like, no, that's a recipe for disaster right there. Because let me just say this. Number one, doing video takes a whole lot of time and it takes a whole lot of preparation. So I'm from the mindset that it's easier to just commit to doing a longer video. If you could do one long form video once a week, then you get everything you need from there. And that's my process, and I'm sticking to it. So I says, no, consider this. If you go with that strategy, there's so many opportunities for you to miss the mark on being consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And it gave me the opportunity to share like what my process was in the beginning. And like you said, that's one of the things that I used to do, take a long form content. And then from that piece of content, it can be repurposed to get everything that we need for marketing. We could get a blog post, we could get emails, we could get social media posting, we could get short videos. But here's the thing, back in the day, we were doing all of the heavy lifting, meaning I would have to go back, watch the video, find where to snip the video. I would have to get the transcript. I would have to, read through the transcript and try to put together the post from the transcript, a whole lot of time. And what I found when I started using AI tools in my business, it made that process super easy. So what went from days of creating content went to a matter of couple of hours in creating the content. And it's such a game changer, for entrepreneurs who are really focused on being productive. Because if you're not a social media person and there's something else that you do in your business, just like you said, I write and I train. I speak, I write, and I train. That's what I want to do. I don't want to spend any time watching videos, cutting videos, editing videos, doing any of that stuff, right? And I get it. And so this is the opportunity, for you to take a look at this technology in that way that would give you some of, well, not even some, a whole lot of your time back. And so I started using tools that would do that specifically. And like I said, what I'm finding, there's such great tools out there that literally they're listening for the clips. It's like, it's so instinctive. They're like, this is the point. This is a talking point here. So I'm just going to snip this here. We're going to take that snippet and we're going to format it for whether it's Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. So all of the heavy lifting and the editing is literally done for you.
And
go ahead.
I was going to say, in that vein, this is so key for those solopreneurs out there who are working in their business and not on their business, and they're not running in one lane, which is their brilliance. Is, they say that we delegate, and sometimes you don't have the money to delegate when you're starting out. However, these tools are very much like delegating, and you can actually train someone to just use the tool on your behalf at minimal cost. So I think for me, what it really drives home is, one is, how do I become more productive?
Right.
How do I run in the lane that is my brilliance and my passion? And how do I let go of the things that are eating my time, that aren't my brilliance, that I shouldn't be doing anyway? and still leverage the possibility of getting this done and getting it something that's much, much more effective than I would do. One of the things is, as you were talking, I notice with when I use AI is it sees what I don't see. And I really want everyone to get this, because I have a listening of my own content in a certain
Yeah.
way, right? It's my perspective. It is my, I would cut it here. I would cut it there. When you put it into a tool, it'll snip it. And suddenly you're like, oh,
Yeah.
is that me? Did I say that? And so you're broadening what you are. And some of it may not be like, no, I don't want to use that. But a lot of times it's stuff that you wouldn't have done, you would not
Right.
have seen, because let's face it, we look at the world, this is the mindset, please, we perceive the world from our perspective. And
Mhm.
our perspective is as narrow as this until something expands it. Well, sometimes you'll put something into an AI tool. I mean, I was watching one of the videos that you guys snipped and put back and sent me, and I was like, oh, that is so cool. And I'm now listening to my own content with
Right.
newness,
With a different ear. Right.
right? So I think when I say it stretches us and it has us, it finds creativity in us that we may not even know. It allows us to see the things that we're not seeing. And when we think of AI, we think of like technology, and it's like woo, big and scary. Grammarly, let's just say,
Yeah.
I've been using Grammarly for like love Grammarly. Could we just edit all my stuff? That is AI. We don't relate to it that way because I think we don't feel replaced or threatened by it.
Right.
It enhances. And I want to put that on table because AI is running the gamut right now. Like
Yeah.
it's totally running the gamut, and it's getting where you fit in, getting in terms of what you need. Don't just say, oh, it's AI. Because I was having a conversation with someone, they were like, AI, oh yeah, no, it's not good. And I'm thinking, what do you really think AI is? Because I bet you AI running half your house and you don't know,
It's called Alexa.
right? It's called that security system that you really like, that knows exactly where you are, right? And so I think it's not to shy away from it, however, to be open
Yeah.
and examining it. And as we said at the top of the show, and bringing your responsibility, your ability to assess different things, risk, all those things, bring your morals to it, and then make a choice that is in your best interest. However, don't just hear AI and close the door,
Yeah.
because then you're going to be missing, and I believe you'll be left behind.
Yeah. And it's so true. And I want to go back to a point that you made about us. Sometimes we standing our own way and we don't know that we're standing in our own way. So as you were sharing, when I gave you back a video and you listened to it and you was just like, oh my gosh, I would have never picked to clip that, or I didn't even remember, that I said that. Now, here's the beautiful part about it, and I'm going to talk about it from the social media perspective for a second. One of the things that I've come to learn and appreciate is sometimes you're right, we do have our own listening for ourselves. But when I take that content from AI, what it allows me to do is pay attention to what is resonating with my audience, what's resonating with our audience. So in me being a content creator, I might think that this is the thing that my audience wants to hear because this is what I'm thinking and they want to receive this because I'm excited about it. And sometimes it's just like, no, child, they don't care about that. I say something else. And then all of a sudden they eat it all up on social media. Just like, what? So it's about, being able to let go, like to step out of our own way and do what we know we're supposed to do, which is do the thing and then go watch the analytics. see what the analytics are telling you. Is this the content, the type of content that your audience wants more of, that they're resonating with? And then once you get that, I'm going to tell you what I do. I turn around and go right back and put that stuff right back in AI and say, give me some more.
And I think that's a really cool thing, because we want to remember that AI is a technology. So it has an ability to analyze and do all these things that I'm brilliant, but my brain don't do those things, right? So it is seeing things that you and I don't see.
Right.
It is paying attention to things that we don't pay attention to. And I think what it allows us to do is to, I would say, expand our listening of ourselves and of our content, and get and receive cues as to what keeps coming back, what keeps working, and testing it, and then going, as you said, give me more of this.
Yeah. So
Right.
I have a question for you, and I want to touch on this a little bit, because I know it's one of the things that we talk about, all the time. It's the infringement of AI, using AI, and how people misuse AI. And for example, I had the opportunity to watch a video, and I think I shared this with you. I watched a video where this person took a soca artist, one of my favorite soca artists. Oh man, copied his voice, created lyrics on their own, and created a whole song using his voice. And I looked at that and I was just like, oh, it's cute and all, but that's wrong right there. Somebody could get sued.
I was
What's
going to
your
say
thought on
that's a recipe for a lawsuit. And I think, I alluded to this at the top of the show. No matter what becomes available to us, no matter what it is, I think we have to sit in this place of exercising our ethics, activating our GPS, and in mindset, your GPS are your guiding principles. Those are the values that guide who you are and how you show up in the world, so that you show up consistently and people know what they can count on from you. And so I think as we embrace all these tools, and every tool, every new technology comes with their temptation.
Yeah.
Because when something becomes easy, it is tempted to take the easy road. When something has a breath and a birth that we don't haven't had exposure to, it's tempting to step beyond the boundaries that are good for you. When something allows us to leverage power or force, it's tempted to do those things. And I think, with everything, we have a responsibility to use our moral compass, to remember the ethics. It's interesting because one of the conversations I have with a particular individual in my life is always about corporations. And his view of corporations is these big bad entities, and corporations take advantage of people, and corporations do this, and corporations do that, and corporations do this. And I said, well, I got a corporation. Where you work is a corporation. That entity that sends you money every month is a corporation. So we're talking about all these things. And my point was that it's not corporations per se. It's not the entity corporations. We can't lump it all into one group and say all that. It's the individuals running those corporations that must be held accountable to their ethics and their values. And I think it's going to be the same thing with no matter what gets invented. There will be things that don't align with your values at all, and you will stay far from. Right. And I know for some people, marijuana has just been made legal in a lot of places. And there's some people that are, that's cool, but not me. It doesn't align with my values. So there's people in there. And now we've got certain technologies that's going to become available. And I think we have to really sit in personal responsibility for what we choose to, one, engage in, and two, how we choose to engage it. And I think the key is the how. How do I come to this? And what boundaries do I put on myself as I use this? Because no matter what it is, you know, we know a car can become a lethal weapon in the wrong hands. And a car could be the best mode of freedom and transportation in another hands. It is, how do we relate to this thing that is available to us? So I think that's going to be the struggle for everyone. And it speaks to our mindset. It speaks to our maturity. It speaks to our ability to hold ourselves to a higher level and to be accountable and to become face to face with temptation, because
Right.
ease always comes with temptation. And let's face it, AI presents a level of ease.
Yeah.
And so we've got to balance ease with the temptation to cross the boundaries.
Yeah, and it's so good. And one of the things that I'd like to tag on and add to that is, if it feels wrong in your gut, you probably shouldn't be doing it because your gut is trying to tell you something.
Don't
And
lie.
and then the other flip side of it, if you are that person out there, who's creating proprietary information, this once again is the opportunity for me to say, make sure that you protect your stuff, right? So protect your stuff, get your stuff copyrighted, get it trademarked, get it, all of that stuff. If you're worried about that end of it, if you stand on that side of the coin, because once again, the AI conversation isn't a plagiarism conversation. It isn't I'm going to go rip anybody off and steal anybody's stuff and make it my own conversation. It's how are we using these wonderful tools to enhance our brilliance, to enhance our voice in the marketplace, to do things that would allow us, to increase our workflow and get maximum output for what it is that we're doing.
Right, and that is so key. So given that AI is just growing leaps and bounds, as of today and your exposure, what is your favorite AI tool and why?
Ooh, girl, so let me tell you, yes, I'm in love. So my favorite AI tool, yes, I'm in love. My favorite AI tool is a tool that's called Video AI. Okay. And I'll go back and I'll put the link inside of the description for super achievers who want to take a
And
look at
spell video so people
it. So
really
it's,
get this.
yeah, so it's VIDYO.ai, Video AI. So I'm going to tell
I
you.
still think that's too cute.
Yeah, video AI. So I came from the school of another AI tool called Repurpose.io. And so Repurpose.io did this kind of similar, where it would snip your videos for you. But once again, you had to be the person to go in and listen to the videos and all that stuff. And I came across this beautiful tool. And Suzanne, when I tell you, not only did it listen for the points on where to clip the videos, and I mean, when I tell you, minimum to no editing required. It is that precise. Not only does it clip the videos, but it formats the videos for you for different platforms. So no more going into editors and having to size a video for Instagram stories, have to size it for TikTok, have to go back and size it for Instagram on your feed, size it for YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook. This thing does the heavy lifting for you. And if that wasn't enough, oh my gosh, it writes the captions to go along with the videos. So this is what my process used to look like. I would have a clip of the video and I would sit there staring at the video like, what would be a catchy caption for this? I don't know. I need a nap, literally. And it would give you back the captions. And I was just like, this is absolutely amazing. Whoever came up with this platform, You truly listened to the plight of content creators and you answered the questions. And so one of the things that I absolutely love about it is, like I said, I go ahead and I take those same captions, I turn around and I put them right back into Chat GTP. And now I can, manipulate and maneuver, those captions to write articles. I could have them write more social media content. So I'm telling you, from not even one big video, I'm talking about one snippet, a 4-minute snippet. I could get an article, I could get chat, social media postings, already have the video. It is just absolutely amazing. Did I say I'm in love? I'm in love.
I think I could see it all over your face. Just saying, just saying.
Well, I know that you're in love too. So I know that you have a favorite AI tool. So what's your favorite
I do.
AI tool?
I don't know if I'm having the same affair as you are, but we courting. Mine is funnel scripts.
Oh, okay.
And for me, it is the ability to write all that copy for a funnel, all the emails, all the landing pages, all those things. And what I love about it is I have all this stuff in my head. So it asked me a whole bunch of questions. And some of the questions I'm like, dang, I don't know. But so I go and answer it. And then it's got another question. Remember, I said the magic of asking these great questions. Another question. Let me think. Answer the question. And then I push the button and out comes this script. And is it perfect? No, but it is the most beautiful start. And now I just got to go and tweak it and massage it. And I don't know about anybody else, but how many of you need a guide when you're writing like funnels and emails and all these things? Because things are always changing. How many emails do I need? What's the first email? What needs to be in the second email? Imagine having something spit out all of that for you. And now you have a guide, and now you got to go tweak and personalize it. Talk about moving you from busy to productive. Talk about putting some wind beneath your wings, making you think, oh my goodness. So now it's not like, oh, I got to go write a funnel and like, it feels like 100 emails. It's like, no, I'm going to go answer some questions. I'm going to spit out, and I'm going to go and tweak it. It's awesome.
Yeah, and you get your time back. So, it's like back in the day when you sit and you think about it, when you say put together a funnel, and a funnel is more than emails. A funnel is also the landing pages that go along with it, the sales copies. If you're going to do video, like a video sales letter, you got to do the video, blah, 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 blah. So literally building out a funnel used to take months to do. And we're talking about sitting down in a matter of a couple of hours, and you get all of the components from your ads all the way down to your pages and the emails. Oh, yes, girl. I think it's okay. You can admit it.
It's fantastic. We courting. And it's such a time saver. And I think one of the key things, as we come to the top of the hour, to really have people look at is, I know for myself, when I decided to step into working for myself, step into this entrepreneurial journey, I told myself I knew how to work really hard, because when I worked for other people, I worked long hours, I worked hard, and I knew what it was like to feel burned out. And I decided that if I was going to come to this journey, I was going to live life, and I was going to live on purpose, and I was going to find this great harmony between fun, production, and play. Because you know me, fun and play. And so always looking for tools and resources that give me leverage so I can get my time back. Because I truly believe that all of us are on this journey because we want to own our time.
Right.
And many of us have got into business, and the business owns our time. Producing owns our time. And we're like, when am I going to sleep? When am I going to eat? When am I going to have some fun? And I think the beautiful thing about all these tools that fall under the AI label are just beautiful ways for each and every one of us to move from busy to productive and get back our time so that we can enjoy the freedom that we truly desire. And to have no shame about it, because, gone are the days where you're grinding and having to do everything yourself and thinking you got a badge of honor because you worked 18 hours and did it all yourself. Those days are gone. I think it really is. We're in a new time where it is, live life, live bold, live beautifully, and find that harmony where you're creating massive results and having time to enjoy what you're creating. And it is moving from busy to productive and living in that space of high productivity and then high freedom at the same time. And I think that's what I love about these tools that's available. Like when you talk about AI, I think freedom.
Yeah, and it's so good that you're sharing that, because one of the things, I just finished reading the book Who Not How, right? And they say that that's the secret to success. So when you stay in the how, when you're trying to figure everything out for yourself, you're probably not utilizing your best self. You're not utilizing your superpower. You're stretched too thin, doing too many things that really doesn't matter. And what you need to do is find the who's. And so one of the things that I've come to look at, like I say, AI as collaborative partners. So I take a look at AIs as my who's. And so if you're just out there starting and you need who's, start to take a look at some AI tools.
So take a word from Howard's book, like think of AI as an ally, as one of your who's that frees you up. That is so brilliant.
Yeah.
So what's our quote for today, Tria?
Okay, all right. Our quote comes from Jeannie Rometty, and Jeannie says, some people call this artificial intelligence, but the reality is this technology will enhance us. So instead of artificial intelligence, I think we'll augment our intelligence. Once again, by Jeannie Rometty.
That quote is the bomb. It is
really, I love those words.
Right. And I think for all of us that remain open, and for all of us that are willing to expand our reality, AI will expand us. I think AI will allow us to become much more creative. I think it'll allow us to meet different parts of our own ability to produce that we didn't know. It will challenge us. And I think it's about inviting in that challenge and going to the next level, while, as we've said throughout the show, living with a level of accountability, responsibility, your moral compass. And when you balance all those things out, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. All right. So we are at the top of the hour. Just want to thank you for joining the Influencers Journey this evening. We will be back here next week, Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But until then, please know you're brilliant. Know you are oh so special. And we do this work because the world is waiting. The world is waiting for your unique gift. Blessings, and we will see you next week.
Take care. Until next time.